Okay, thank you so much for joining us for the closing session of our Rethink Travel virtual trade show. Before we get started, we'd like to show you a short video from our sponsor, Shanga Tanzania. Shanga is a social enterprise based in Arusha that employs people with disabilities to create unique, high quality, handmade, and really beautiful jewelry, glassware, and homeware that incorporates local recycled materials. So please take a look at the amazing work that they are doing. Just one second. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that beautiful message from our friends at Shanga Tanzania. Shanga sells their products in Tanzania, of course, but also around the world through their online store. They're always reinvesting their profits back into developing opportunities to employ more people with disabilities. So we all hope that as we approach the holiday season, that you'll consider buying some of your gifts this year from Shanga. More on the organization and their online store can be found at shanga.org. Okay. Sorry. Can you guys see the screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So once again, my name is David DiGregorio, and I am one of the 3 co-founders of Rethink Travel Marketing. On behalf of our entire team, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for participating in our first virtual travel trade show. Over the last 4 days, we've seen such a tremendous amount of engagement, and we're so grateful to all of you that participated in the show. That includes the 85 suppliers spread across 6 continents and the 585 travel buyers also spread around the planet. Since Monday, the 720 of us taking part in the show have sent 13,754 messages to one another and attended 17 keynote speaker sessions with a total audience of 1,431 across all sessions. But most importantly, we had 3,972 confirmed one-on-one meetings, which at 15 minutes each totals 993 hours of meeting time, or 41 entire days. So I know I speak for all of us when I say just how thrilled we are to see this level of engagement and knowing so many people were able to be so productive on our platform.
Great, and I'm Jane Barrand, one of the founders of Rethink, and my position with the company is really trade relations. That's what I've done for the last 31 years. None of us in the industry would be here if it wasn't for all the exhibitors who want to meet with you, with the agents. And so thank you so much to all of the exhibitors from Asia, from Africa, Europe, South America, small ship cruising, North America, and the rep companies that were here. Really, we really appreciate you being here. Support people who support you in the industry, the people who are willing to take the time. Some of our vendors were up at 11 at night for appointments, 1 in the morning. So really, really do appreciate all of y'all.
So we recognize that for most of us, at least, it's pretty late in the day, and we don't want to take up a ton of your time with a closing session. So we thought a fun way to close the week would just be to revisit some of the incredible speakers that we heard from over the last few days and just share quick takeaways on each session in case you missed any. Just so you know, all the sessions this week were recorded and will be available to you next week. You'll receive a link. But for now, we'll just touch on the most salient points of each speaker. And we'll just run through the week real quickly. So starting with Monday, our week began with a keynote session from Betty Radier, the CEO of Kenya Tourism Board. Kenya is a destination that is already open for business and eager to welcome tourists. So Betty used her session really to demonstrate just how ready Kenya is to receive guests, and went through many of their priorities around health and safety and the specific policies they've put in place in partnership with the Ministry of Health. In short, a negative COVID test is required for entry into Kenya, and you must receive it within 96 hours of arrival. You could ask Jane more about that, because I'm pretty sure she received her test today and she will be departing for Kenya tomorrow, something I'm super jealous of. In addition, Betty also talked a bit about how COVID testing is already available in every county across Kenya, and how even some of the game lodges are offering it directly to their guests, which is particularly needed should travelers be doing multi-destination trips, of which Kenya is just one stop. Our second session, I'm going to ask Christina to tell you a bit about with Janine on harnessing the power of infinite possibility through flow consciousness.
As Janine Cohen, she's a Forbes change maker. She's a luxury and adventure travel expert. She gave us such a special session for those of us who are really trying to cultivate some peace and knowing in this time of really great uncertainty for our travel industry. So she gave us a lot of practical tools and techniques to kind of ground into presence when we need it most. We did some meditation practices. It was really great. And she gave us these top 3 tips that I want to share with you guys for really grounding down. And the first one was to create a morning and an evening routine that has both movement and meditation. She said that was super important. The second was when you're not sure what to do next, say in your business or in your personal life, she said, do what's in your highest excitement. That's often we are afraid to trust our intuition, and that is always what we can lean into to know what to do. And the last one is just to make time to just be and to rest and recover. That's what you really need to gain the momentum to propel you forward. So it was super inspiring, super insightful, and we're so grateful she shared it with us.
Good stuff. And after Janine, we had our very good friend, Carla James from the Guyana Tourism Authority. Jane, you want to share a bit about that?
Yeah, so Carla is the new director of the Guyana Tourism Authority. She is indigenous herself. She is from one of the 9 tribes that most of them live in the interior of Guyana. Guyana only has a population of about 750,000, and 90% of those people live on the coast. Some are indigenous, but the majority of the indigenous populations live in the interior, where we have natural social distancing. One of the largest swaths of virgin land forests left in the world. Guyana has what they call the land of the giants, and some of the giants are the largest freshwater fish in the world, the arapaima, the harpy eagle, the largest eagle in the world, the giant river otter. So, and what you get there with the indigenous tourism is community lodging and activities that are completely owned by the indigenous community, and not just one person owns it. The whole community gets together and will run a program. And the largest lodge, I believe the number has 10 rooms. So you have a whole area basically to yourself without crowds of people. And all the indigenous people speak English, another benefit.
A big benefit. Good stuff. And then we wrapped up Monday with a session on extended family travel that Christina will share about.
Yeah, Eric and Angela Pearson of Wallace Pearson Travel are like total parent goals. In May 2019, they took their kids on a year-long adventure around the world. They stayed in 21 different countries. I think they touched down actually in closer to 30. And really, the only reason why their trip was cut short was due to COVID. And the only reason why they knew to get home was because they had such a good relationship with the hotel where they were staying at the time, who was like, the world is going to shut down and we're more than welcome to host you, but I think you want to go back home with your kids. So that really taught them such a good lesson in the value of supplier relationships. And they learned so much on that trip about the benefits, not only for their family on a personal level, but on a business level, and how important it is to really have your foot in the ground of where you're selling. So that really allowed them to kind of learn through that. And yeah, they said they gave us a lot of tips for if you are going to embark on a trip like that, plan it, but leave some room for spontaneity. So it was super inspiring. I think a lot of us were like, can we do this? Yeah, I loved their session. So it was a really good one.
And then Christina, will you also then give us a recap from Judy at Enchanted Expeditions?
Yes. Oh, Judy is fabulous. And she got us all head over heels in love with the small but mighty country of Ecuador and its Galapagos Islands. We learned so much about these destinations, things that I didn't even know. And I'm actually half Ecuadorian, but that Ecuador is the first country to legally recognize the rights of nature. And I thought that was beautiful and so insightful. Puerto Viejo was named a UNESCO creative city for its gastronomy. So it's a very big foodie city, which I don't think many people know. And in the Galapagos, it's so remote, it's so unspoiled that people can actually get a lot closer to wildlife than you would think. Like, you don't need that super zoom lens. You can get extremely close, so that's really special. And yeah, we fell in love with these destinations, but with COVID, people are missing out on this opportunity. And, without tourism in the Galapagos and in Ecuador, there is no conservation. So she really stressed the importance of us spreading the word that Ecuador is open and ready to welcome visitors safely. So it was a really important message she shared.
Great, thank you. Hugh, could you give us a recap from Jillian Blackbeard of Blackbeard, not Bird, of CEO of Africa's Eden?
Sure. Welcome, everybody. We're so happy you're here. Well, hopefully you're here still with us. But my name is Hugh Huff. I'm also a partner at Rethink Travel Marketing. Jillian's, I don't know if anybody saw what Jillian spoke about. It was really, really cool. I mean, she had a lot of great ideas about how Africa is being transformed by COVID. One of the things that you spoke about a little bit about was how COVID hasn't really touched Africa in comparison to other countries around the world. There's not that many cases. Maybe there's not that much testing either, but the fact that there's not a lot of cases there. She said she basically hit on four things. First, obviously, COVID is shaking up the industry, and also COVID has democratized the African travel trade. So now a lot of new independent travel agencies are sprouting out. They're much more personal, and then they're sort of competing with so much of the more traditional travel agencies right now. She spoke a little bit about Airbnb. If anybody has started staying in Airbnb lately, they're thriving also in Africa. And in Africa, they're being really innovative about where you can actually do an Airbnb, whether it's someone's bar or some safari camp, which is kind of cool. Excuse me. She spoke a lot about multi-country destination and the fact that you got to think about this as a pineapple on a pizza. So just think way outside the box and try to start mixing up countries. People love to do multi-country traveling, and she thinks Africa's right for that. She spoke a little bit about travel for good, how Africa is the perfect place for this, whether it's your interaction with the community or the wildlife. And Africa is doing a really nice job in this, and consumers really love that. And she ended up the presentation, which I thought was really cool, on diversity, especially Africa for Africans, where there's a lot of inter-travel, where Africans want to learn more about their own continent and travel to other countries that they may not have traveled to, and also from Africans from other countries, like African Americans wanting to go back to the roots, to Africa, and how some travel agencies are really taking advantage of that. And she's saying that even though right now I think it only accounts for 12% of travel, they expect that that's going to go up to 42% by 2025 or something like that. So she had a great session. It was really, really enjoyable.
And we got to meet her dogs.
Oh yeah, and there you see her with her cat. If you've ever spoken with Jillian on Zoom, it's hysterical. She'll be talking there, and there's this sheep walking past, all her dogs, and it's really cute,
Good. And I don't know how many of y'all, but I'm drinking a gin and tonic. It is happy hour time in many places right now. So please do so.
Cheers.
Yes. So Christina, could
Yes.
you give us a recap of Memory Lane?
Oh, yes. NH Hotel Group, the all-star team there, Ana Maria, Corey, Maria, and Camila, they led us through 4 incredible Latin American destinations: Colombia, Mexico, Chile, and Argentina, sharing their vibrant flavors, their culture, their heritage. We were all encaptured by it all. NH Hotel Group is headquartered in Madrid. It's a global operation. They operate over 350 hotels in 28 different countries, including obviously those 4 that I just mentioned. And, some of these destinations aren't quite as advanced in their reopening from COVID as others. So Mexico is really open, whereas Argentina is just starting to enter into its reopening phases. But the hotel group as a whole is really priding itself on placing into its measures into place to keep their guests safe. So they have Feel Safe at NH, which is this global initiative that's in effect across all of their portfolio. And it's just these different measures that they have in place that guests can really feel assured that when they're traveling in this pandemic, they can feel good at their properties. So it was a really enlightening conversation that we had.
Great, thank you.
Excellent. So I guess I'll moderate this. This is going to be Wednesday. So Christina, you're up again. Tell us a little bit about Joe.
I had a busy week, guys. I had a very busy week. Joe, such a fun conversation with Joe. He took us back onto the good old fashioned road trip. And he really talked about, because of COVID, how there is such an increased demand for domestic vacations now. I think he said by May 2020, RV rentals and sales were booming so much that there was one leading company that had reservations up 331% from the previous year. So people were hitting the road. So he gave us some tips and insights on how, if we've never gone on an RV trip, which I can't say that I have, how we can kind of tackle that. He was saying take shorter trips, like do it small, 3 to 4 days, do it in the spring or the fall so you have good weather. So put your best conditions forward. And then he also gave some tips for navigating travel domestically during the pandemic. So a lot of practical knowledge, easy things to remember that we might forget. He was saying things like pre-making your meals at home as much as you can. When you have your RV, make sure you sanitize it yourself. Don't necessarily rely on the RV company to do it for you. The obvious, wear your mask, social distance when you're out in public. And lastly, he was saying just to wash your hands after everything. So when you're filling up your tank, remember to wash your hands. And he says he feels super safe traveling. He's done it with his family, his kids. So yeah, we have to all get back out there. So it was a good session.
Wow, sounds really neat. So Jane, tell us a little bit about Judy Hurst.
One of my closest friends in the industry. Judy spoke about Iceland and why we should go. It's open now. They have some very strict COVID-related quarantines. So when it is completely open, there is so much to do there. You can get away from the heat here in the South and during their summer, and from the heat. There are geysers. I don't know if you know that by this year or next year, all of their energy is going to be from thermal energy. Some of the things to do: go to see the Northern Lights, though don't plan a trip only for Northern Lights. So plan a longer trip and hope that you see them while you're there. The Northern Lights, so if you're in the Akagera, in the northern section, that is one of the best places in the world for the highest chance of seeing the lights. The Icelandic horses are very special, and you can go horseback riding, you can go visit them. And then she talked about the amazing food that is in Iceland. She didn't mention the fermented shark, but you can try that there, and it is pretty vile, and you do need a strong liquor to get it
is
down.
gross.
It is gross. But yes, but she talked about why you want to go to Iceland, the incredible beauty, and it is, everything in Iceland is geared towards nature and saving nature, and very, very special place.
Wow. Well, speaking of nature, Jesse is going to talk a little bit about tracking. So what was all that about, Jesse?
Oh my gosh. I hope that you guys had a chance to attend Alex's session. Jane, I'll just cheers you as I see you're taking a drink. So it's also on the East Coast here. It's my happy hour as well. You guys know that this is a fun group of people, a fun show. So the people behind the curtain. Anyway, if you didn't have a chance to attend Alex's session, it was so cool. As David mentioned, we'll have all those recordings up for you. But what Alex talked about in this session was the misrepresentation of wildlife tracking and the role that it plays in conservation today. So it was just absolutely amazing how he took us through all these different tracking techniques and the master trackers that he's had the experience with over the years. But what I personally loved is how Alex brought it all together. And, you know, we were learning about wildlife tracking and everything that goes into that. But he tied it all in the end about how you can track your everyday life, whether it's your job, your relationship, your success. So he kind of brought that all back together. And he did mention that his book, we had quite a few book orders during his session. So the tracking your success, if you didn't get to submit your order, let me know. We're doing a bulk order. But anyway, I just loved how he tied it all in and how you can still track your everyday life. But of course, the highlight of the session, I hope you guys saw it. We were faced with some decisions on some clues that Alex gave us, whether we had to follow the smell or the actual tracks. But anyway, in the very, very end, this picture is quite appropriate. We came upon a pride of lions. So the art of tracking is definitely, of course, a main component of conservation and the human-wildlife relationship. So I really, really highly recommend, if you weren't able to attend live, to go view that recording. It was absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you, Jesse. It sounds really, really interesting. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Hugh. I actually moderated this session. Hugh is one of my best friends. I've known Hugh forever. And as you know, anything to do with the Caribbean, Hugh is the man. So Hugh was talking a little bit about rethinking Caribbean travel. With 31.5 million visitors in 2019, 30 million cruise arrivals, and 2.5 million jobs in the region. This is all in 2019. The Caribbean, he reminded us, is very dependent on tourism. In fact, it's the most heavily dependent region on tourism in the world. So obviously the entire region has been totally devastated on this. So what Hugh sort of walked us through is how some of the destinations are starting to rethink who they talk to, rethink some of the products that they're selling, starting to rethink the type of marketing they're doing, et cetera, and how it's really shaking things up. So how the destinations are getting ready for a post-COVID-19 world. This includes not only, of course, the destinations, but how are the airports, what are some of the protocols the airports have in place, and of course, what are the airlines doing right now to do that? So it's kind of interesting. In part of the rethinking is what you're seeing right now with some destinations, which are encouraging people to actually, why work from your little studio apartment in New York City when you can work from Barbados or Jamaica or Antigua, and it's become a very popular destination for things like that. So it's kind of cool just to see Hugh again, my namesake, doing that. We had Hank Stewart, who moderated the next session. Unfortunately, Hank cannot join us for this. Unfortunately, I actually got to see this session. We actually do a lot of work with Intrepid, since we work with Peru, and Intrepid has, I think, like, 45 plus trips to Peru. So we know Intrepid really well. And it's a fantastic country, and Jeff did not disappoint. He said so many cool things, and these are just some of them. I think the best quote was, we don't want to be the best travel company in the world. We want to be the best travel company for the world. And I think that was pretty profound. And what he was saying is how Intrepid sort of took a step back after they brought back like over 3,000 visitors, guests that were stranded all over the world. They closed down operations and they basically used it to kind of rethink the way they're doing their business and rethink every aspect of their business, and decided to focus more on responsible travel. They came up with a number of initiatives to make them more environmentally and socially responsible company. Everything from addressing climate change to supporting Black Lives Matter movement, through racism training through employees, and ensuring that people of color are included in every aspect of their value chain. They also developed this amazing intellectual property and are now sharing it with the entire industry, and a guide for travelers called How to Traveler. And one of the things Jeff stressed about, and he was talking about all these cool insights that they've learned, and they're creating a whole series of webinars and guides and stuff, and they're all available for people that want to see it. So if you guys didn't see this session, I would highly recommend that you see it. It was really, really cool. And also just check out their website, because a lot of the stuff that they're doing is stuff that we've been talking about during the session. So he was pretty neat.
Great. So we're flying through the week. We're already up to today. I'm going to ask Jane to tell us a bit about, I think, what was one of her favorite sessions.
Yeah, my whole staff, we're crushing on David. What can I say?
I can concur.
So David is the president of Save Giraffes Now. He's a researcher, and I asked him why giraffes, and he said, I was studying, and what he found out was there has been very, very little research on giraffes. Everybody knows giraffes, they think about them, but nobody had done research on them. And he said, wow, this was a place I can stand out. And there are 4 different kinds of giraffes. The Rothschild and the Nubian giraffe are the same kind of giraffe. And then there are 5 different subspecies. And one of the issues with giraffes right now is they're living in islands. Literally sometimes, because he showed us where they're having to move some giraffes that are on an island to the mainland because they're not able to, there's not enough land for them there. But they're living in islands, and the importance of the researchers, various groups working together to try to do corridors and to make sure that giraffes survive and that they have viable populations, because what you don't want them to do is interbreed too much. And it's really the silent extinction. Most people do not know that the giraffe populations, along with many other animal populations, have really plummeted over the last few years. The good news is David feels like there's hope. And as they're a new organization, they are relatively new. They're working with all of these NGOs and people who are passionate, and researchers passionate about giraffes, are all working together and really trying to come up with plans to save them. And some of the largest populations are in Tanzania and then Southern Africa. And he said, but Kenya has the most types of giraffes, 3 different kinds. And that's the basics there.
Cool. Next was what I thought was one of the most interesting sessions of the week. I'm going to ask our sustainable gangster to tell us a bit about that.
Speaking of giraffes,
show your t-shirt very quickly.
Oh, there you go. Woo! Speaking of giraffes, here we have Suzanne Kerba. I believe that's in Paris. And I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to see this session. Suzanne is someone that came through us, actually through Alice, who's also part of Rethink, and through her daughter. Alice is very good friends with Suzanne's daughter, and said, oh my gosh, my mom works at CDC. She works at the World Health Organization on COVID-19. It's like, are you kidding me? So that's how we met Suzanne. She is absolutely fantastic. She had a session, which I think was pretty funny, called Rest, Relax, and Reality, putting rest communication in the front seat. So what's cool about Suzanne is we're all talking about COVID, but she is someone that actually knows what we're talking about. And she just spoke dove right into it, defining what risk communication is, what are the principal guides to risk communication. And the number one thing she came out is all about trust. It's how you talk to people. And it's about telling the truth and being transparent. And like she said, nobody expects you to be perfect, but they do expect you to tell the truth. And the whole session was really built around that. She spoke a lot about vaccines, and a lot of people had a lot of questions about the vaccine. And she made a really nice analogy that, we're all in this burning house, the house is burning, and we know we're in a burning house, but we know the fire department is coming, which is the vaccine, but we don't know when. So that is the dilemma that we're facing right now. She gave some great examples of how some folks in the travel business, what they're doing, including one of our own very own exhibitors, Kuza Cave in Zanzibar, and also Morocco Unplugged. So it was really, if you get a chance, check out her session. Suzanne is not only this very brainy, super smart person, she's also super funny and very engaging. So highly recommend it.
Cool. And then I'll ask Christina to come back to tell us about what was our last session of the day.
Yes, it just happened. I'm still kind of like buzzing with all the information that we got from Ian and Rita. They're from Contiki, which is a global leader in travel specifically for Gen Y and Gen Z. So this is a really eye-opening session where we learned a lot about their wants and their needs and their willingness to travel, even amid the pandemic. So they share that there's 3 different cohorts to target, but in the simplest terms, these are students, the recent grads, and they're young professionals. And they're all equally interested in the same thing. They want immersive experiences and they want to meet new people. This is a generation that is all about connecting, and finding travel experiences that are going to change their lives. And the biggest takeaway I would say from this was that they're all ready and willing to go on trips. Even if their friends aren't willing to go with them, they really want to get back out there. So it's so important for us to be targeting them when we're selling our destination. So I thought it was so insightful and I learned a lot, and as I'm sure a lot of people did as well. So it was a really great session.
And Pinterest.
Yes, Pinterest. Yeah, everyone was focused, Instagram, Facebook, the usual, the TikTok, which is emerging, but they were mentioning that Pinterest is so great because you can share blog posts, you can drive clicks to your content. So yeah, we learned a lot. It was great.
Good. So good. And now I get to talk about the fun stuff. Now, you guys, we have a random thing that's going to be letting you know who wins the prizes. It's going to be a couple of days before that happened, but let me tell you about what we have. Prize number 5, 2 nights at the Royal Livingston Anantara Hotel, which if you have not been there before, I've been lucky enough to stay there. Fantastic location on the Zambian side of the falls. A lot to do. I had a massage and I had a zebra 10 feet from me. It's very special. Table Bay Hotel, I've also stayed there. Right on the waterfront of Cape Town, fantastic hotel. You walk out the door and you've got so much to do. You can take the boat over to Robben Island from there, and a great base for exploring Cape Town. And then the Palace Hotel, which is a large resort style hotel surrounded by fantastic game. So it's wonderful for the kids. You can take the kids, hang out at the pool, and then yet you can go on a game drive and do lots of different activities. A really, really fantastic prize. Prize 3, we have, this is with Judy, Enchanted Expeditions. We have 5 nights on the Bogaluga, or I don't know how to pronounce that other one. Cachalote, Ecuadoria.
Close enough.
Ecuadorian. Yeah, close enough. 1 cabin for 2. If you have not been to the Galapagos Islands, they're absolutely fantastic. It is, for many years, it has been a model of how to do conservation right. And these ships are small, I believe 16 passengers. So a wonderful way to get around the islands. And then we have a prize, the lake crossing from Argentina to Chile, with 1 night in Puerto Blest and 1 night at the Hotel Natura. If you're not familiar with the lake crossing, what it is the traditional, it's the oldest product in tourism product in Chile. It is the traditional way people would bring their cattle from Argentina over into Chile to get it to port, because it was faster to take them through the Andes than to get them, than to take them to Buenos Aires or to another port in Argentina. But what it does is it's the two oldest parks in Argentina and Chile. You start in, you can go either way, but you start in Bariloche, unbelievable chocolate, unbelievable beer there, incredible good beer scene there. And then you take a different catamarans and stop along the way. And then you do one night in Puerto Blest, which is a darling little 16-room hotel that is in the heart of the national park. And then you take another ferry, one of the coolest border crossings you'll ever do, and then into to the Natura Hotel, and one night there, lots of activities to do, and then into Puerto Veras or Puerto Montt and out. Lovely. I did that 2 years ago. A lot of fun. And prize 2 is a 7-day EcoQuest course for one person in South Africa. Jesse and I have both done this course before. Depending on where it is, where they're offering it, you are in a tent, very basic accommodations, shared facilities. You learn how to, you have a mini guide course. One day will be teaching you how to read signs and, animals. Another day will be navigation. What I did learn is always look back. And so you always know where you came from. You would still die if you were in the bush with me, but it's an amazingly fun course, the most educational course I have ever had. If you've ever thought you might want to be a guide, and this will give you a taste of that. And then and then we've got Iceland Pro Cruises, 1 night cabin for 2 on a 7-night Best of Iceland tour. And this is going to be May 11th through the 18th. And it's going to, Jesse, can you tell a little bit about this one? It's a circumnavigation around Iceland, correct? It's a circumnavigation?
Yeah. So it's essentially the best that Iceland has to offer. So instead of booking your car and driving Ring Road and trying to figure out all your hotels and everything along the way, you unpack once, you hop on the beautiful boat. Jane, yes, please enjoy your gin and tonic more. No,
sorry.
So you're still getting the main highlights of Iceland via cruise. And the really great thing about traveling via cruise is because this is how the Vikings discovered the island. So you're really coming into these narrow fjords on a small ship and coming upon these small villages. So it's a really, really great itinerary, and you can kind of customize whatever you'd like to do in the ports, whether you'd like to do super jeeping on a glacier, or maybe you'd like to check out the lava field. Maybe you're not adventurous. Maybe you'd like to go buy a 6-pack of beer and sit in a hot pot like I did. It's up to you. So it's a really great
6-pack of beer.
Yeah,
quite expensive, but yes, still available. But a wonderful way to experience.
So I was
Iceland.
I was buying a bottle of water there, that Icelandic water that you see in the stores here in the States. And the lady said, that's just our tap water, don't you? So pretty funny. And our grand prize, we have 2 round trip economy tickets from Kenya Airlines from JFK to Nairobi, 6-night at Elawana properties. The properties are Lewa Safari Camp, Tortolas in Amboseli, and then 2 nights at the Mara Safari Club. With Heritage Hotels, we have another 2 nights in the Mara. And I'm sorry, I have to pull this out. We've got 2 nights in Samburu and then 2 nights in Navasha. This is a really incredible.
Uh-oh.
In that it probably is worth more than 12,000. I was choosing like the lowest season prices to start it, but incredible overview of Kenya. And so lucky whoever wins that. Great. And then I get to talk about the Land and Life Foundation, very close to my heart. The Land and Life Foundation is based in East Africa, and they are part of the Elawana Collection. 100% of all donations that go to the Land and Life go to whatever project that they're doing, because Elawana pays all administrative costs for them. So any money that you have donated. You wonderful folks donated $750 And we have decided to match that for $1,500. I was on the phone with Caro this morning from Land and Life, and she is beyond excited. Where some of the projects they do, they have the Wildlife Warrior program, where it's a education program where they start kids in school and then educate them on wildlife. I've actually had a guide who started with Wildlife Warriors before, and guides came to his school and he fell in love with wildlife. So they have that, and their long-term goal are to create wildlife warrior schools. So what we try to do is have kids go through these programs and go to secondary school and onwards, and then they try to hire them and get them hired at other lodges in the region. They have a seed ball program where they have seeds that you can throw out into the bush, and they will sprout certain ways to try to reseed some areas for trees and things. They have medical missions that they do, because without the local communities, you have no wildlife. And so it's very important to work with the local communities. And just a little bit about them, and a great organization, and they're doing a lot right now. And thank you.
I just had a question come through. People were asking, how do we donate? So I just wanted to share that question while you were talking about it.
You can go to Land and Life Foundation. I believe, Jesse, if you could take a look, I think it's landandlife.org, I believe is their website. Or you can go to elawana.com and just click there.
Yeah, we did offer the ability to make a donation when you registered for the show. So the 750 Jane mentioned is from all of you guys that have already donated, and then we matched on top of that. But of course, you can certainly donate after the fact as well.
Oh, we'll take more. They'd love it.
So it's actually landandlife.foundation, just for your information.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Popped it into the chat.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I guess all good things must come to an end. But before I do that, or before we do that, we do want to thank all of you for participating in our very first Rethink Virtual Travel Trade Show. You don't know how much we really appreciate this. And we also want you to please send us your thoughts. We want to hear the good, obviously, especially the great, the not so great, and the ugly. We want to learn what you thought we did really well, and what you think we can do even better. Yes, we're going to send out a survey, but we'd like to hear from you personally as well. And of course, that goes out to all our wonderful sponsors who made this possible. So thank you, thank you, thank you. When Jane and I founded Rethink Travel Marketing a few months ago,
With David.
What did I say?
Just you and me.
You
I'm
excluded
sorry.
me, sustainable
That's so
gangster.
funny.
It's fine.
Oh, that's so
the three
funny.
of us.
Oh my gosh. With David, Jen and I, when we founded Rethink Travel Marketing, it was because we collectively have learned so much about the travel business, and of course, what we're all going through with this crisis. Having worked many, many months, 24/7, and all of us working weekends, nights with all our clients, not only helping them weather the storm, but also helping them rethink everything, whether it's their product, their markets, their marketing, everything, with the simple idea that we can use this crisis not to bury our head in the sand, but also come out stronger, or as we like to say, rebuild better. We've learned a lot, and we wanted to share some of this in this show. Hopefully we've done a little bit of that, because we believe that together we're going to come out stronger. But we want to continue the conversation. So if you guys have anything you want to add to this, anything that you've learned, let us know. If you want to talk to us about Rethink Marketing, please contact us. Contact Jane, David, or myself. And the last thing I wanted to do, and this is really, really important, is that even though Jane had this absolutely crazy idea to do this, oh, let's do a trade show, this was only made possible by our amazing team. And here they are. You may have heard from some of them. You may have cursed some of them, but they are fantastic. And I'm just going to go through them. The guy that's kayaking there is obviously David De Gregorio. A lot of you know him. He is one of the founders. I'm actually there in, I think it's Florence. And then there's Jane somewhere, I think.
Namibia,
which is really cool. So but special shout outs go to Ana, who is in Buenos Aires. Ana has been a pillar behind all of this. And you see Ana here with a nice smile on her face. About 10 days ago, we were talking to Ana and we said, okay, Ana, what can we send you? A nice bottle of wine? And she goes, send me a gun. Oh my God. Ana, talk about it. But there she is. She's very happy. She's there in Peru. She has been awesome. And there's Christina. This is the way she feels right now because this thing is over. You know, she's like yelling. She has been fantastic, helping us with all our sessions, et cetera, et cetera. Some of you may know Hank. Hank has been helping us with a lot of the copy. He actually moderated some things. Unfortunately, he can't be here with us. He had more important things to do. And then, of course, there's Jenna. You know, that is, she's in Vancouver. That's not her in Vancouver, but she has been tremendous working with Ana on troubleshooting all the issues that we've been having, et cetera, et cetera.
Now,
And
she's in
here's-
Saskatoon.
Oh, Saskatoon. That's the same thing.
Saskatoon.
It's all
Yeah,
Canada.
where she had a blizzard on Monday and we were worried, or Monday or Sunday, we were worried she wasn't going to have electricity. And I said, go get a hotel room just in case.
Right.
I made it.
You made it. And then here we have Jessie, and Jessie is so fantastic. She's been moderating for us, and she's so amazing that she actually canceled her honeymoon to be part of. Well, she didn't really cancel it. It was a forced cancellation, but we're so happy to have her. Jessie's been, as you know, moderating some of the sessions. She's kind of behind. She and Christina have been helping us, people that are not very good
The
in
man
technology.
behind the curtain.
The man behind the curtain helping us with that. Exactly.
And we have two newlyweds, by the way. Christina got married, what, a month ago?
Yes.
And then Jessie got married
2 weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. So it's actually now Jessie Tate. So
COVID.
I know, sorry, I'm still getting used to it.
And then finally, Alice. Alice has been helping us with a lot of the graphics that you see here. She cannot be here. She had more important things like a party in Philadelphia that she had to attend to. So she does send her regards, but this is your team. This is the team behind Rethink Travel Marketing. This is the team behind the show. I think we should all give them an applause, raise the glass to them. Thank you so much, team. So this is it. We want to thank you. We want to thank you for everything. Until the next time, stay well, stay strong, and stay in touch, please.
So we did have a few questions come through. One was, is this going to be an annual event? I'll let the team answer that one.
we haven't decided yet.
I'm like, this has been great, but we're out.
It depends on the reviews. If you guys love this, absolutely.
Yeah, as you know, the first time doing something's a lot of work.
Edition.
We do.
Yeah, maybe
We just don't know when in
Jane?
2021 just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're eyeballing spring 2021, so we hope so.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, that was it. We talked about the prizes that we're going to announce them later, so all good.
Great.
And you guys,
Great.
I know Hugh mentioned it, but you will receive a survey tomorrow. It's designed to just take less than 5 minutes. We'd really, really appreciate you taking a few minutes to not just, check the boxes, but add in any comments you have, anything you liked, anything you didn't like, from the technology of the platform to the quality of the speakers. I mean, it's just going to help us do it better next time. So please, please, please take a few minutes to do that.
Great.
Go
And again,
easy. It was our first time.
Be
Thank
kind.
you. Well, thank you guys, and stay strong. Ciao.
And here's to traveling again.
Woohoo!
Yes. Wait.
Okay. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.